Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Hold no punches.
I'm real revolutionary right now. Black power.
Support this man, Black media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig? Tuesday, June 25th, 2024, coming up on Roland Martin Unfiltered, streaming live on the Black Star Network. What's happening in North Carolina? You have, of course, St. Augustine. You have Shaw. You have folks who are trying to take the land where Shaw is on, saying no need for two HBCUs in that particular city. We'll talk with folks representing both universities about the drama unfolding there and how white folks in North Carolina, they want the black land. We'll break it all down for you. Also on today's show, Virginia leader Senator Louise Lucas, Lord have mercy. She has some words for Governor Glenn Youngkin at yesterday's rally, focusing on the second anniversary of the Dobbs decision, which overturned Roe v. Wade. Also on today's show, we'll talk with a woman, an activist in Brooklyn, who both she and her husband have had thousands of dollars saved because of Biden's student loan program. Yet now two federal judges, both appointed by Obama, are halting parts of that student loan relief program. We'll tell you all about it. Also, Attorney General Merrick Garland today spoke in Ohio, where he also addressed the death of Tamir Rice. Today would have been his 22nd birthday. Also, on today's show, one of the leaders of the Fearless Fund, she is stepping down from the organization. We'll tell you why. And lots of upheaval at HBCUs. Florida Memorial President, he resigned on Friday. Interim president today named at Talladega. Also, what's going on at HBCUs? Lots for us to talk about. It's time to bring the funk on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Let's go.
He's got it. Whatever the biz, he's on it. Whatever it is, he's got the scoop, the fact, the find. And when it breaks, he's right on time and it's rolling. Best believe he's knowing. Putting it down from sports to news to politics. With entertainment just for kicks, he's rolling. It's on go, roll, roll, y'all. It's Roland Martin, yeah. Rolling with Roland now. He's funky, he's fresh, he's real, the best, you know he's Roland Martin now.
Folks, we know that many of our HBCUs face a tenuous daily struggle trying to keep their doors open while educating mostly African-American students. Well, in Raleigh, North Carolina, you have two HBCUs, Shaw University and St. Augustine's. Now, St. Augustine's recently ran into some serious accreditation issues. They have had some financial issues as well. And so you have the possibility of the university closing its doors. Then you have Shaw University. They've had issues in the past, but now what you had is leaders in Raleigh, white leaders, really saying that, you know what, it's time for us to that we don't need two HBCUs. Now, Shaw sits on extremely valuable land in downtown Raleigh, and there are folks who want that land. In fact, there was a meeting that took place among several city leaders where one of them, the white owner of a television station, literally said, it's time for us to have these two schools merge, move Shaw to St. Augustine's, and we take over the land that Shaw sits on and we can develop that land. Well, let's talk about what's happening in Raleigh, the battle over these two HBCUs, with a couple of individuals who know the situation well. First of all, joining us is Eugene Myrick. Eugene is a founding member of Save Our Shaw. He joins us from Raleigh. And Dr. John T. Larkins, St. Augustine's University alumnus. He joins us from Ormond Beach, Florida. Glad to have both of you here. So first of all, let's start with you, Dr. Larkins. Accreditation, critical issue. Without that, students can't get financial aid. We know that HBCUs, significant, upwards of 95% of a HBCU's budget is predicated on financial aid. And so let's first deal with that. What is the status of the accreditation of St. Augustine's?
Okay. Currently, we're in the third leg of a process of appealing the decision by SACS, the accrediting agency for the St. Augustine's University. I think I got somebody else on the line.
No. Go ahead. Just keep talking. We got it. Go ahead.
Okay. Sorry about that. We went through a probation period where SACS had asked us to do certain things to improve our financial oversight and things, and that was not addressed very well. Then we went through an appeal process with SACS back in December. SACS again turned us down. We were on the third leg. They put in a new process to try to help support some of our schools, which is called binding arbitration. And we're currently in binding arbitration, and the group will actually be meeting this week, I think Thursday and Friday. So we're going to hear something back from that. And that's sort of our third bite at the apple. If we can convince this arbitration group to come back, they'll go back to SACS and tell SACS that we probably should extend our probation or warning status. If we don't, then the only other recourse is legal action to try to get a stay against SACS and hold off the loss of accreditation for the next year or two. Quite honestly, I'm not overly optimistic about either of these. So we've been trying to do, a group of us alums, bring about some change that might inspire others to donate and give us another opportunity to correct some of the problems at St. Augustine's University.
What is the current student body of St. Augustine's?
Well, last semester it was a little less than, I'd probably say about 800 students.
Okay. Dr. Larkins, let's talk about Shaw University. What's the current student body there at Shaw?
I think that's
Eugene?
for Eugene, right?
I'm sorry, my bad. Eugene, go ahead.
So Shaw is currently probably under 1,000 students right now.
Okay, so
probably under 1,000 students.
Gotcha. So under 1,000, St. Augustine's about 800. Now, you have these two HBCUs in the city. Explain to people, again, who don't understand what's going on there, where Shaw sits and why there is such interest in the land of Shaw University.
So let's go, because the first thing people are going to say is, why not call Willie Gary? Well, let's understand something. Willie Gary pledged $10 million to Shaw. He never gave.
Well, first of all, let's be real clear. I would never ask that question because I'm quite familiar when he was on the Shaw Board of Trustees, where he pledged $10 million and did not follow through. Oh, no. So I'm familiar with the story. You would never heard me say call Willie Gary.
Okay, so Shaw University is, once again, prime real estate in Raleigh. So I got to go back to November of 2019. There was a study they did with a company called Urban Land Institute. Now, understand something. There's a huge developer, a multi-billion-dollar Kane Realty. They trying to create a whole new downtown. They use the same Urban Land Institute at the same time. So the question is, did John Kane Realty, did they pay for this study? Because if you look at the Kane study, it says, oh, this is great. We're going to create jobs and affordable housing. But then when you go to the Shaw study, it says if Shaw doesn't liquidate 75 acres worth of land to get $10 million within the next 6 months, they're going to face systemic failure. So this was November of 2019. I just want to walk you through the process. Now think about it. They said do this within 6 months. The debt was $30 million to get $10 million. So Shaw would have lost 75 acres worth of land, have no money, and still be in debt and at the mercy of the developers. So here's the crazy part.
Hold. Before you go forward, again, so when you said, they said you have a deficit, you need to sell this land in a period of time, who's they?
Urban Land Institute did this study for Shaw University.
Okay, Urban Land Institute did it for Shaw University.
Yes. At the same time, they did a study for the Downtown South development.
Gotcha. Now,
during the exact same time.
Urban Land Institute, are they Black-owned? Who are they?
No, it's a nonprofit entity, and they are what they say, Urban Land Institute, but they will tell you whatever you want them to tell you. So their mission for Shaw, and they put out a story in the News and Observer front page, land rich, cash poor. So once again, this happened in 2019, November.
One second. So Urban Land Institute was suggesting Shaw needs to sell the land.
Yeah, 75 acres. 75 acres.
75 acres. Now,
to get rolling, to get $10 million.
Gotcha. Now, they didn't suggest that Shaw lease the land.
No.
See, Shaw can still own the land, and Shaw can lease the land to developers or whatever, but still retain ownership. They're saying sell 75 acres for $10 million. Now,
yes.
Did the Board of Trustees of Shaw, did they ever commission an independent analysis, or not even? So first, I'm sorry, for Urban Land Institute, who commissioned this analysis of the land of Shaw? The university did?
That's a good question, because as far as we know, it was the university, but I'm pretty certain it was the developer that did it. I'm pretty certain, because not only do they have Urban Land Institute,
there's no paperwork.
No, nothing has been presented to the alumni. Nothing.
So
Nothing.
Urban Land Institute does an analysis, and y'all haven't seen any board minutes or whatever that showed that these folks were hired to do this?
They gave a presentation of what they found. But once again, what I'm trying to explain to you, they did a study at the exact same time. They were saying Downtown South is going to be so great, but Shaw University, which is blocking their development, is in the heart of downtown Raleigh. So get this, Roland. Within that 6 months, the horrible disease named COVID happened, and shut everything down. So in March, COVID took place. Out of COVID, Shaw got bailed out of his $30 million debt. Government wiped it out.
Yeah. So one second. I'm gonna let you finish that. So for people who don't understand, and I've covered this a lot here, when the Biden-Harris administration forgave a number of construction loans for HBCUs, and as a result of those loans being forgiven, it greatly impacted the university's balance sheet. Give me 1 second, because I'm going to pull it up right here. Give me 1 second, so people can follow the numbers. And so this, for folks who know this show, y'all have seen me show you this spreadsheet on many occasions. Go to my iPad. This is the spreadsheet that I personally received from Congressman Jim Clyburn, which came from the Department of Education. And you see right here, these are all of the COVID relief as well as the American Rescue Plan funds that were received by various institutions. Now, let me go down here. You'll see right here, folks, this line here. Actually, I'm going to show you a couple. So first, actually, they're right on top of each other. So you see right there, St. Augustine's had $19.2 million forgiven by the federal government. Shaw University had $20.5 million forgiven. Now, if we go to the next line, you'll see there's a $1.45 million for St. Augustine's, $2.2 million for Shaw. Then the next, so you see these are the categories right here, folks. You will see CARES Act 1, CARES Act 2, and then you will see the additional programs, American Rescue Plan. So I'm just going to go right across here for people can actually see what the numbers look like. So you'll see the net 1.75, 1.75, 2.75, 2.2, 3.5, 2.1, 3.23, 3.9, 5.9, 4.0, 5.9. So in terms of federal government relief from
Yes.
the CARES Act as well as from the American Rescue Plan, St. Augustine's received $34,960,619. Shaw received $44,188,477. So as a result of that, you're saying that the debts that Shaw had were wiped out as a result of the proceeds that came from the Biden-Harris administration.
Correct.
Go ahead.
In addition to wiping out the debt, the CARES Act gave Shaw $11 million in addition to PPP funds. So fast forward 5 years later, how is it that you still operating off the same plan? So they just put out some information. Oh, we're going to continue with the recommendations from Urban Land Institute.
First of all, when you say they, you mean the Shaw University administration.
The Shaw University
Go
administration.
ahead.
So why would you be operating off a plan when you were $30 million in debt, when these people told you to liquidate 75 acres of land to get $10 million and you would have still been in debt? So right now, there's a development that just got sold downtown, a little more than less than an acre, sold for more than $20 million that they're going to put a $400 million development on. Shaw has 27 acres in the heart of downtown, in addition to another 35 acres a mile away.
Wait a minute. So you're saying a one acre plot of land sold for more than $20 million in downtown, but this Urban Land Institute was recommending that Shaw sells 75 acres for $10 million.
Correct. And then they estimated our land that we call Shaw Farm, which is also in Raleigh, Roland, less than about a mile away from the university. They estimated that that land was worth $1 million. It's anywhere from 35 to 40 acres, 35 to 40 acres. They estimating it's worth $1 million. All
right, so let's talk about this meeting that took place where a television station owner allegedly said we need to combine these institutions and sell the land. Were either one of you in that meeting, familiar with that meeting? What can y'all tell us about it?
Well, this is what I can tell you. So I have a fraternity brother, and I'm an Omega man. I'm glad to sit here with you two good alpha men here. I'm an Omega man. And so he was in dialogue with folks at St. Aug about trying to get them some funds to help alleviate their situation. And he was privy to that information over a month ago, where he was asked, well, something going on with your president. We're sitting in a meeting, and they're already telling people that they're in a position to start acquiring St. Aug's property. So they are literally to the point now where they're saying folks out here basically blocking St. Aug. Now, I realize that the folks at St. Aug are dealing with their own issues with the Board of Trustees, and I'm telling them two things can be true. Y'all can have an issue with the Board of Trustees, and at the same time, Shaw can be blocking them from getting funding that they're trying to receive to try to bail yourselves out. So I wasn't at that meeting, but I had already forewarned the folks at St. Aug that this is what was already being said.
So here's what I don't understand here. That jumps out at me. And Doc, if you could speak to this here. Okay, so I understand what's happening at St. Augustine's. I get that. But what the hell does that have to do with Shaw? And why are folk not affiliated with St. Augustine's and Shaw, who are not black, who are not graduates, having conversations about what to do with these two institutions and plotting to move forward? What's going on here?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I was not at the meeting either, but I did get feedback from some folks who were there at the meeting, and I think it was a bit of a surprise to our chairman and interim president about the meeting. But I know for a fact also that there have been meetings in the past concerning the land at St. Augustine's University and Shaw University. We have approximately 106 acres for the campus, and we also have some off-site properties, off-campus properties that we own. And the university, unfortunately, has been in such bad financial scrapes that they've been looking at ways to collateralize some of those properties. But when you're in a bad financial situation, people tend to want to take advantage of that. And
Roland, I can add to that. I hate to cut you off, but let me add to that. So we have Dr. Dillard, who was brought in at the president of Shaw. One of her first orders of business was she sold WSHA to a private bidder. It didn't go on the market. We have alumni that's worked in New York, LA, Chicago. We have alumni in music. It was sold for $3 million.
And so, one second. So again, so I'm familiar with that too. So folks, so that was a radio station in Raleigh that had wide coverage around the city.
Yes.
Radio properties are extremely valuable. This was not a low power radio station.
Owned the tower and everything.
And so they sold it for $3 million, and many other analysts said they could have easily gotten anywhere from $10 to $30 million for that radio station.
Once again, we have bad leadership that are doing bad business, and we can get into that. So Dr. Dillard, once the radio station was sold, said we're going to be all digital, state of the art, new equipment, new studios. We're going to go online. We didn't do any of that. We currently have a dorm that's been empty for over 5 years. Now think about this. There's students for whatever, for obvious reasons that are fleeing St. Aug, but they're going to Central, they're going to Fayetteville State. Shaw is literally right across the street. Right across the street. Why do we still have empty dorms? Well, first Dr. Dillard said nobody knows where Shaw University is. Now, I went to Shaw from 90 to 94. We had over 3,000 students. So nobody knows. Then she said, the dorm is so bad that nobody can live in there. Then she said the dorms are being renovated. So then they went through this whole rezoning process. Roland, I'm going to send you the rezoning so you can see for yourself. Already in the rezone, baked in, is a public street for the city of Raleigh. Also baked in, it says Shaw is going to house 100 students in the third building for 5 years.
Is this what they announced as the Shaw U District?
Yes.
So folks, Elise, go to my iPad. So folks, you'll see this was the press release sent out on May 9th, 2024, where they announced, again, this Shaw U District. This is the website right here where they laid out exactly what it is as well. Go right ahead.
So the problem with this is the university's charter specifically states that Shaw's land is to be used for institutional purposes perpetually. To do the rezoning, they changed it from an institution to a business district. So we have a president of a university who once raised no money for the endowment, has no students. The students are actually protesting living conditions, locked the Muslims out of the mosque, but yet she sits on the Downtown Raleigh Alliance as the chairperson with these same business leaders, Roland. How is she serving as the president of Shaw University and the chairperson for the Downtown Raleigh Alliance? There's some backdoor deals taking place. And I believe that these things have taken place in 2019 and COVID stopped it. Because it makes no sense to be sitting on $1 billion worth of real estate and to still try to implement the same plan from 5 years ago when you were supposedly land rich and cash poor.
Let me go back to the good doctor. And so, all right, so you've got these two HBCUs, lots of drama going on both campuses, when in fact they're not intertwined. And so,
not at all.
And so first and foremost, from an alumni standpoint at St. Augustine's, let's say you are unable to get SACS to agree to whatever the plan is regarding accreditation. You say the next step is going to be a lawsuit. Is that lawsuit going to come from the alumni of Shaw? Who's going to actually be driving this lawsuit?
Yeah. Before I address that, let me just follow up on something Eric said real quickly. Over the years, St. Aug and Shaw have shared resources. When I was at St. Augustine's University, I took classes at Shaw, and when Shaw students also took classes at St. Augustine University. So we have worked collaboratively over the years. And it was possible, if people got their heads together, to figure out a plan to use some of our dormitories to house students from Shaw University.
Well, because first of all, let's be clear.
Football field.
I'll give you a perfect example. I gave the commencement at Wilberforce, and so Wilberforce actually rents or leases, if you will, dormitory space from Central right across the street.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I know Dr. Van Newkirk quite well. Yeah. So we've worked collaboratively in the past. I think there have been some powers that be that aren't pushing or prefer not to have us work as collaboratively. So we need to share resources, and it's easy to do as people sit down at the table and work together. But
Well,
to answer your question specifically about who files the lawsuit, the university would have to file a lawsuit to get SACS to hold off removing our accreditation. So once a decision is made by the arbitration board, then the university would have to go into court and ask for a temporary restraining order, which could take a year or longer. This was a similar thing that happened with Bennett, except Bennett had a totally different situation. They were not as in debt as we are. You know, we're right now somewhere between $32 and $40 million.
So I'm confused. How did St. Aug receive? Give me just 1 second. I just want to quote the number correctly here.
34.9 million.
What was the debt before the 34.9 million?
Well, I can tell you it was substantially higher. It was at least 12. Well, I was on the board around that time. It was about 12 to 13 million dollars higher than what was asked for. We should have asked for more money, for one thing, but we didn't, and we could have justified it.
Okay, but I'm confused. If you got $35 million, so the debt was what, about 50 million?
I'd say probably close to 50 million. Yeah.
Okay.
We paid off the mortgage on the dormitory, which was roughly 22 million.
Right. So if you owed about 50, you got 35, your debt's at 15. What is the debt now?
Last I was told, about a month or so ago, it was $32 million.
Hold on. Now I'm confused. How the hell do you cut again? How the hell do you cut your debt from? You get 35 million. You get a once in 100-year pandemic that saves as a lifeboat. You get 35 million. Your debt gets cut from 50 to 35 down to 15. How in the hell you add $15 more million in debt?
Because we didn't receive any money from Title III, Title IV money for the fall of 23 or spring of 24 because the university failed to file audits for the past 2 years. One of the requirements from the Department of Education, in order to get those monies, you need to file good audits for 3 years.
Let me add. One second. So somebody in the administration didn't do their damn job and filed a report, so therefore you didn't get the money?
Exactly.
Are those folks still employed?
No, but it gets worse. We didn't pay the FICA, the payroll taxes, for 3 years on our employees. So the IRS put a $7+ million lien on St. Augustine's University. We owed people $670,000 for audits. We owed $600,000 for legal fees. So, and quite honestly, our employees haven't been paid for the last 2 to 3 months.
So Roland, let me jump in here.
$2 million in there.
And on their instance, the same thing. The folks who have been messing up at Shaw, they still employed. And when you start saying we need to get rid of these people, then you get the other folks from the alumni. Oh, let's not air out dirty laundry. And I keep telling them, when your laundry stink, your house stink, and when you go outside, you stink. Those people who Shaw has had to pay millions of dollars back to the government because of misuse of funds. But the same folks are still there, Roland. But here's what's going on in the city of Raleigh and why it's a problem with Dr. Dillard sitting as the chair of the Downtown Raleigh Alliance. There's a meeting actually this coming Thursday. One of the neighborhoods where black people were told they would live is called the Prince Hall District. And once again, there was redlining in Raleigh. So you have this thing called the Prince Hall District was a historic overlay protection for the black community. Now the city is looking to get rid of that. So when Shaw was rezoned, they took a large portion of their property out of the Prince Hall district. And here's what's going on now. Because I was looking for some office space, so I called a number on a little commercial building, and this 80-year-old black lady answers the phone. And I said, yeah, I'm looking for some office space. And she goes, I would have gave it to you, but I'm under contract with a developer. Oh, wait, I can't talk about it. Call my realtor. So what's happening now is they're using these elderly black folk to say they want out of the Prince Hall district so the developers can come in and take up that land. And these are two hearings that'll literally are happening at City Hall on July 2nd. The committee meeting is on Thursday at 3 p.m. at City Hall, and then there's a hearing on Tuesday, July 2nd, I believe it's at 1 p.m., to determine if they want to get rid of this historic protection. Now, understand something. There are other neighborhoods in Raleigh that are historic overlay protection, but they're in the white neighborhoods. There's no talk about eliminating those. Only from the Prince Hall district, which is downtown, prime real estate, back to back with Shaw. So this is why you put the president of Shaw as the chair of the Downtown Raleigh Alliance, although she has no significant accomplishments. And she literally was up there. All of this is a city. All the city council meetings are on YouTube. And she says, as the chair, I support expanding the downtown district. It's because they're trying to get a hold of that land. And with the situation that St. August's in right now, this is why you can have a TV station owner basically sit there and say, literally, like, I own these people right here. So you need to determine what you're going to do. And if you read what it says y'all need to merge. I don't care what you call it, but this needs to happen. The nerve of somebody to sit there and talk to you about the organization, the university that you run. Can you imagine that?
It's a whole lot of drama here. We're going to reach out to you, Pat. It was in December when St. Aug fired the president, Christine McPhail. She said this came out. She filed a discrimination lawsuit. I'm still perplexed. How in the hell people don't file appropriate paperwork so you can get the money? That makes no sense to me. But certainly keep us abreast. We'll see what happens with the accreditation.
Roland, can I just add one more, Roland, before we go?
Yeah, real quick.
Let me add one more. So a part of another reason I believe the radio station was sold, because there was an audit by a company called BDO, and in that audit, a longtime employee, Dr. Emeka, was fired. And he said he was fired because he refused to sign off on a fraudulent audit. The audit, say if his budget was $200,000, they were saying that he had $400,000 in addition to paid interns. And when he refused to sign off on that audit, he was fired. And I believe that radio station was sold to help cover that up. And I say that because all of this is documented lawsuit. Please look out for the email, because I'm going to send you these receipts where you can read it for yourself. He said he refused to sign off on a fraudulent audit. Now, mind you, Shaw was getting matching funds from the Capital Broadcasting Company. So if you're only spending $200,000, but you telling them you're spending $400,000, and then you have paid interns, where's all this other money going? Where's all this other money going? And I'm saying that to say these people are still in place at Shaw University. So now they're elderly, they're sickly, and we literally had like 3 board members die in the last 5 years. These people are trying to cash out before they check out, Roland, and they don't care what's left behind for the rest of us with these universities.
Gentlemen, we will...
One last thing also, we are trying to make a change. We do have a lawsuit. The Save SAU Coalition, which is mainly alums, former SAU employees, students, and parents, to have a change in the board such that we can reconstitute that board and bring some better business acumen to the way the university is run.
Gentlemen, I appreciate it. Keep us abreast of what happens next. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
We come back. We'll chat with my panel about this and some other developments as well at HBCUs. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered right here on the Black Star Network.
Hello, my brothers and sisters. This is Bishop William J. Barber II, co-chair of the Poor People's Campaign, a national call for a moral revival, and president of Repairs of the Breach. And I'm calling on you to get everybody you know to join us on Saturday, June 29th at 10 o'clock a.m. in Washington, D.C. on Pennsylvania and 3rd for the mass Poor People's Low-Wage Workers Assembly and Moral March on Washington and to the polls, and the post effort to reach 15 million poor and low-wage infrequent voters who, if they vote, can change the outcome of our politics in this country.
Our goal is to center the desires and the political policy agenda of poor and low-wage persons, along with moral religious leaders and advocates. Too often, poor and low-wage people are not talked about, even though in this country today there are 135 million poor and low-wage persons. There's not a state in this country now where poor and low-wage persons do not make up at least 30% of the electorate.
It is time that the issues of poor and low-wage people be at the center of our politics. Living wages, health care, things that matter in the everyday lives. We will no longer allow poverty to be the fourth leading cause of death in this country. We must let our voices be heard. Join us. Go to our website, www.poorpeoplescampaign.org. RSVP. Get others to come. Get a bus. Get a van. Get on the train. Come and let our voices be heard and our votes be felt. Lift from the bottom so that everybody rises.
Carl Payne pretended to be Roland Martin. Holla!
You ain't got to wear black and gold every damn place.